If fear has kept you from stepping into your next career or business move, Esther's story is your sign. Maybe you're stuck in a job that drains you, or you have a vision to launch something, but doubt, fear, or even money worries have you frozen. Well, I've been there, and so has Esther. Esther didn't have credentials, she had a calling. And when the moment came to rise up, she said yes with prayer and boldness for such a time as this. So I want to share with you all 3 main points to faith-driven career and calling. So point number 1 is this: calling isn't always comfortable. Esther didn't want the spotlight. She didn't feel ready. But purpose often shows up disguised as discomfort. So here's an action step for you. Identify one area where you're resisting growth out of fear. Point number 2, preparation precedes promotion. And I always like to say, preparation leads to elevation. Esther fasted and sought God before stepping into purpose. Your season of waiting isn't wasted, it's training. I'm going to repeat that. Your season of waiting isn't wasted, it's training. Isaiah 40:31 says, "They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength." So here's a practical tip for you. Spend 15 minutes daily asking God to reveal and refine your next step. And then finally, point number 3, faith requires bold action. Esther didn't stay hidden. She showed up, even though it could have cost her. God is calling you to show up too. Send the email, submit the proposal, or even record the video. Luke 1:45 reads, "Blessed is she who has believed." In order to do this, you need a mindset shift, because obedience is success, even if the outcome is unclear. All right, guys. So I want to share with you all a personal testimony. Actually, 2 personal testimonies. And the reason it's 2 is because I'm speaking to 2 different groups of people. So the first group of people that I'm speaking with are those that know or realize that God is challenging them, that He's calling them to step into a new season of their career. There's some things that's going on right now and you're feeling uncomfortable. You're feeling uneasy. You don't know what to make of it. God may be challenging you to step away from where you are and to step into a new season in your career. It may be a new job. It may be stepping into leadership. No matter what it is, I want to challenge you on today to accept the calling. I can remember back in my career, and some of you may have seen some videos that I posted in regards to a particular job, an employer that I worked for, where I was going through on that job. You name it, it's like I was being attacked on every end. I couldn't understand why I was being targeted, why people were picking on me. But I came to realize that God was training me for the new season that He was bringing me into. It didn't feel good at the time, but when I look back on it, I thank God that I went through that season in my life. Shortly after leaving that employer, I can remember I was driving on my way to a job that was a contract opportunity. I was only supposed to be there for a few months. I had moved to a new area, and at that time, I really didn't want to work for a full-time employer. So I'm on my way to work one day, and I was behind this long procession of cars, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I wish they would just hurry up. And so we were coming through some back roads, and I can remember once we entered the city limits, the lane split into 2. But all of the cars that were in front of me stayed in that one lane. And I was like, okay, let me just veer on off. When the opportunity came, I got into that other lane, and I was booking it. I was even able to get in front of the first car that was holding up the entire line. And so when I did that, I'm just, focused on getting to work. But the Spirit of the Lord spoke to me and said, you see how you just did that? How you went from the back of the line and now you're in the front of the line? He said, that's what I'm about to do to you. And let me tell you, He did. Around that time, I was presented with an opportunity to step into leadership at that employer, at a place that I thought was just going to be temporary, seasonal. I ended up being there for a number of years. And I realized that everything I went through in my previous season at my previous employer was to prepare me for that new position in leadership. If I had not went through everything that I went through previously, I would not have had the success as a leader that I did. So I want to challenge you today to embrace the uncomfortableness, to embrace those seasons of challenges and not feeling good about where you are, because God may just be calling you to transition out of where you are. Let me tell you something. It's always better to heed God's calling and to transition when he says to transition versus him transitioning you, because you have no control over when he says, okay, you won't transition. Let me help you to transition. You never know how that's going to turn out. So on today, for those of you that God is calling to transition into a new season, to apply for a new job, to interview for a new job, to work on getting that promotion, to step into leadership, to maybe even leave that employer that you're at, that you're comfortable with, I challenge you on today to step out, to embrace the calling and the challenges that God is placing before you. Now, let me talk to my other group of people. It's to those of you that are working for an employer, you're working for a job, you're comfortable, but you have this thing in you, this burning, this seed, this burning sensation where God is saying, I need for you to venture out and I need for you to start a business. I need for you to become an entrepreneur. And you may say to yourself, there's no one in my family that's an entrepreneur. I don't know what to do. God knows, but he has a plan. You have to trust the process. I can remember nearly 20 years ago, stepping out and launching my business. I was in my, mid to early 20s at that time, and it was something new. There was no one in my family that I knew of that had ever started a business. It was all new to me, but God called me to do it. Since that time, I've had that business for almost 20 years. And God has blessed not only me, but my family through that business. And let me tell you, most of the time I've had that business, I've also worked for an employer. But just a few years ago, God began to call me to step away from full-time employment and to start running my business full-time. That calling began to burn deep inside of me. So much so that I'm like, okay, I need to talk to my husband about this. And let me tell you something. We did just what Esther did. We prayed and we fasted. We sought God, and God gave us the answer. And I stepped away from corporate America over 5 years ago to run my business full-time. When God is challenging you to step away, when he's challenging you to do something, it's always best to heed the calling, because God can see further down the road than you can see. So if God is challenging you to step away from corporate America or just to launch your business while you're still working, do it. Launch that business. So if you're ready to step into your God-given calling, I want to encourage you all on today to download the Level Up Your Career Guide or the Level Up Your Business Guide at ChiquitaRobertson.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification button. And don't miss next month's series as we go even deeper into living boldly and leading well. All right, guys, I hope this video has been a blessing to someone. And until next time, you all be blessed.